Why did one tiny black-owned utility company make white officials so nervous? Follow Black South, because this right here is the history they hoped you'd never learn. In the 1940s, the town of Moton, Alabama was different. It wasn't just black lead, it had its own black-owned electric power company. Founded by local black residents who were tired of being denied basic services, the Moton Electric Cooperative didn't just power homes, it symbolized independence. White-owned companies refused to hook up black households or charge them outrageous rates. So Moton said, fine, we'll build our own. They strung the wires, flipped the switches, and took full control of their grid. And the backlash came quick. County officials tried to deny them permits. State regulators threw roadblocks. Newspapers called them a threat. Why? Because power, literal and symbolic, wasn't supposed to be in black hands. But the people of Moton kept the lights on. They ran that system into the 1960s, long after most black towns had been gutted or absorbed. Today, Moton is nearly gone, but its story proves what happens when black communities build without permission. They created light in the middle of darkness. Follow Black South because they tried to erase it, but we're still here. The state wanted this black town gone, but the people said, come try it. Follow Black South if you're tired of seeing our communities erased in silence. North Brentwood, Maryland, the first black incorporated town in the state, wasn't supposed to survive. Not in 1901, not through Jim Crow, and definitely not after politicians started plotting behind closed doors. It started small. Zoning laws changed. Roads went unpaved. Funding mysteriously disappeared. And when that didn't push folks out, they proposed dissolving the town entirely, handing control back to white lead surrounding cities. Translation: erase black power without lifting a finger. But this community wasn't passive. They sued. They organized. They exposed every dirty trick and fought every backdoor deal meant to destroy them. North Brentwood became a thorn in the side of people who believed black towns weren't supposed to govern themselves. And they won. Not just with votes or protests, with relentless, unapologetic ownership of their land and leadership. More than a century later, it's still black-run, still standing, and still making the right people uncomfortable. Comment if you've never heard this story. Follow Black South because silence is how they win, and we're not staying quiet. Ever wonder why so many black neighborhoods got wiped off the map in the 1950s and 60s? Follow Black South if you're done accepting whitewashed history as truth. This wasn't random, it was policy. When President Eisenhower launched the interstate highway system in 1956, cities across the South suddenly had the funds and the green light to redevelop. But what they really did was destroy. In Nashville, Tennessee, I-40 was deliberately routed straight through a thriving black community. Over 1,400 homes and 80 businesses were bulldozed, even though alternate routes through less populated areas were proposed. In Montgomery, Alabama, the freeway sliced directly through the Centennial Hill neighborhood, home to black doctors, teachers, and lawyers. The same happened in Durham, in Charlotte, in Baton Rouge, over and over again. These weren't accidents. These routes were chosen to gut the heart of black economic and cultural power, to eliminate political influence, to destroy generational wealth. They called it urban renewal, but for black communities, it was the same old strategy: displacement by design, and the effects still visible, still felt, still unrepaired. So tell me, how many of these roads do you drive every day, not realizing they were paved over somebody's home, church, or business? Comment below if your city did the same, and follow Black South so these stories don't stay buried. You've heard of the Hamptons, but not the black version. It was called Idlewild, and during segregation, it was our escape. Idlewild, Michigan, founded in 1912, one of the only places in America where black families could own lakefront property, throw parties, and vacation without fear. This wasn't survival. This was joy. Idlewild had over 300 Black-owned businesses, lakeside lodges, and legendary clubs. The Paradise Club, the Flamingo Room, the Idlewild Clubhouse, and the performers, Duke Ellington, Aretha Franklin, Sammy Davis Jr. They weren't side acts, they were the stars. But here's what they don't tell you. Idlewild wasn't just about parties, it was about peace, ownership, dignity. A place where Black families vacationed in luxury without being policed, watched, or excluded. But as the world slowly opened up, Idlewild faded. Not because it failed, but because the very success of integration left it behind. The businesses closed, the tourists stopped coming, and the Black Eden faded from memory. But Idlewild? It's still here. Still owned in part by Black families. Still standing as proof that we didn't just survive Jim Crow. We created joy in the middle of it. Why didn't they teach us this? Drop a comment if you're glad you found out. And follow Black South because we didn't just resist, we built our own.
Imagine a place where Black people, just 2 decades after slavery, built their own thriving town. Governed, owned, and led by them. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, Eatonville, Florida made it a reality in 1887, becoming one of the first incorporated all-Black towns in America. Picture this: Black families owning their land, running their own businesses, and controlling their destiny, completely free from white rule. This wasn't just a community, it was a revolution in plain sight. And get this, the legendary Zora Neale Hurston? Yeah, she grew up right here. This town shaped her into one of the Harlem Renaissance's most powerful voices. But here's the real question. Why isn't Eatonville's success story in every history book?
They said, you can't live here. We said, then we'll build something better. That's exactly what Black families did in the 1930s. In a place now called Glenarden, Maryland. Shut out of white suburbs, they came together, bought land, built homes, and in 1939 made it official. A Black-governed town. Black mayor, Black council, Black power in plain sight. And here's the part they didn't expect. It's still that way. Glenarden has stayed over 90% Black for generations. The schools, the city hall, the churches, the small businesses, built and led by us. Not in the past, right now. It's one of the few towns in America where we didn't just survive redlining, we outlasted it. No erasure, no renaming, no absorption. Glenarden stood its ground, and it's thriving. You won't hear about it in textbooks, but the blueprint is right here. So here's the question. If one town could hold the line for 80 years, what's stopping more of us from doing the same? Drop your answer in the comments. And follow Black South because our legacy isn't just behind us. It's still building.
In Texas, the town of Brenham holds a forgotten chapter of cowboy history. After emancipation, formerly enslaved Black families settled here and worked as ranch hands, trail drivers, and horse trainers. They formed tight-knit communities where cowboy work wasn't just a job, it was survival and pride. Brenham became a hub for Black rodeo culture in the early 1900s, hosting events where cowboys competed away from the discrimination of white-run arenas. You can still find descendants of those early riders keeping the tradition alive today, proving that cowboy heritage runs deep in Texas soil.
They don't tell you that Washington, D.C. once had a hospital built for the people America wanted to forget. In 1862, as the Civil War raged, the federal government opened Freedmen's Hospital. It was meant to treat formerly enslaved people, but the conditions revealed how little value was placed on Black lives. Overcrowded wards, broken equipment, barely enough doctors. Many patients were sent there not to heal, but to die. Yet here's the part history skips. Despite the neglect, Freedmen's Hospital became a beacon of Black resilience. Black physicians and nurses, often denied work elsewhere, built careers here. They trained future generations of Black medical leaders when most schools wouldn't admit them. Instead of being fully remembered and honored, the hospital gradually faced neglect and underfunding, and by the mid-20th century, its story faded into history. Its grounds became part of Howard University's campus, a place that continues to carry forward the spirit of education and progress. Yet today, Few Americans know that this pioneering hospital ever existed. It matters because Freedmen's Hospital proves something powerful. Healthcare wasn't just about medicine, it was about justice. Who lived, who died, and who was given dignity was decided by systems built on inequality. Why don't we learn about hospitals where Black excellence thrived despite neglect? How different would healthcare look today if Black medical institutions had been fully supported? Should sites like Freedmen's Hospital be preserved and marked as national history? Follow for more stories they don't teach in textbooks, and comment, remember the healers, if this legacy should be honored.
The state wanted this Black town gone, but the people said, come try it. Follow Black South if you're tired of seeing our communities erased in silence. North Brentwood, Maryland, the first Black incorporated town in the state, wasn't supposed to survive. Not in 1901, not through Jim Crow, and definitely not after politicians started plotting behind closed doors. It started small. Zoning laws changed, roads went unpaved, funding mysteriously disappeared. And when that didn't push folks out, they proposed dissolving the town entirely, handing control back to white-led surrounding cities. Translation? Erase Black power without lifting a finger. But this community wasn't passive. They sued. They organized. They exposed every dirty trick and fought every backdoor deal meant to destroy them. North Brentwood became a thorn in the side of people who believed Black towns weren't supposed to govern themselves. And they won. Not just with votes or protests, with relentless, unapologetic ownership of their land and leadership. More than a century later, it's still Black-run, still standing, and still making the right people uncomfortable. Comment if you've never heard this story. Follow Black South because silence is how they win, and we're not staying quiet. Why is one of the richest Black communities in Georgia completely gone? Follow Black South if you're ready to hear the truth they left out of your textbooks. In the early 1900s, Fifeville was a thriving Black farming community in Fulton County, just outside Atlanta. Black families owned land, ran businesses, and had their own school and church. They were self-sufficient, proud, and building generational wealth. Then came the airport. In the 1950s, the city of Atlanta approved a major expansion of Hartsfield-Jackson. But instead of targeting unused or white-owned land nearby, they drew a bullseye right on Fifeville. Through eminent domain, the city forced Black families to sell their land at a fraction of its value. Homes, churches, and even graves were destroyed. And today, the entire town sits beneath runways and airport terminals. There are no signs, no historical markers, no trace. The city erased Fifeville from the map, but not from memory. Descendants are still alive, and some are fighting to have the land acknowledged. All they ask is for people to know it ever existed. So next time you fly into Atlanta, know that you're landing on more than just concrete. You're landing on Black history. Comment below if you'd ever heard of Fifeville. Follow Black South so this history never gets erased again.
How old are you?
11.
11. What grade are you in?
In the 6th.
6th grade. Do you intend to go to high school, Laura?
Yeah.
What would you like to be?
I like to be a teacher.
What would you like to teach?
I like to teach the 5th grade.
What do you think about going to school here in Cranberry, New Jersey, Harriet?
I like it. I like it.
Well, good. Would you, do you have any idea what you want to do when you grow up?
Be a teacher.
Well, good. How old are you, Patricia Ann?
8.
What grade?
9.
9? What grade are you in?
4.
Do you have any idea what you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
What's that?
A nurse.
Otis, what would you like to do when you grow up?
Be a doctor.
You going to be a doctor?
Yes.
What kind of a doctor, do you know?
I think I'd rather be a dentist.
A
Your
dentist?
teeth.
8 crazy facts about African American history. The last one will blow your mind. Number 1. The first person killed in the American Revolution was Crispus Attucks, a Black man who died in the Boston Massacre, making him the first casualty in America's fight for freedom. Number 2. Benjamin Banneker, a self-taught Black mathematician, helped design Washington, D.C., and created America's first almanac while accurately predicting a solar eclipse. Number 3. The Buffalo Soldiers were black cavalry units who fought in the Indian Wars and had the lowest desertion rate in the entire U.S. Army, despite facing constant discrimination. Number 4. Madam C.J. Walker became America's first female self-made millionaire by creating hair care products, building a business empire worth $600 million in today's money. Number 5. The Harlem Hellfighters were the most decorated American unit in World War I, spending 191 days in combat, more than any other American regiment. Number 6. Bass Reeves was the first black U.S. Marshal who arrested over 3,000 criminals and killed 14 men in self-defense, inspiring the Lone Ranger character. Number 7. The Great Migration saw 6 million African Americans move from the South to northern cities between 1916 to 1970, reshaping American culture and politics forever. Before I say the last one, make sure to hit that follow button to support the channel. Number 8. Hidden Figures. Katherine Johnson calculated the trajectories for NASA's first manned space flights by hand, and astronaut John Glenn specifically requested her to verify computer calculations before his orbital mission.
What if I told you 10,000 enslaved people in Alabama vanished in a single night? 1863, middle of the Civil War. Plantations went to bed full. By sunrise, ghost towns. This wasn't chaos. It was the most organized escape in American history. Months of secret planning. Hidden trails only the enslaved knew. Underground routes spanning 3 counties. They moved like an army without making a sound, leaving tools out, fires burning, beds still warm. It looked like they evaporated into the night. The masters called soldiers, bloodhounds, bounty hunters. They found nothing. Because you can't catch people who know the land better than you ever will. Historians call it the night slavery broke itself. They didn't wait for Lincoln. They freed themselves, and most were never caught. If they won't teach it, we will. Hit follow.
I worked hard. I'd get up at 4 o'clock and get my breakfast done. Just at dawn of day, I go to the field and we pick cotton.
Mr. and Mrs. Haywood Jenkins of Sharkey County, Mississippi have, between them, picked cotton for over a century.
My boss man came along. He says, Mary Jane? I said, sir. I say, when you wash? I said, I washed last night. He said, I don't want you to do that no more. That's my agent, you know. He says, every Friday morning or Friday evening, you wash. And let all the children stay there with you until you get through. When you get through, then y'all can go back to field and wait. Now, the agents was mean, some of them. Some of them was mean. You want to whoop the colored people. And that time, the white man come along. He says, hey, but you ain't in the field yet? He just had started plowing. He said, yes, I've just not had to eat my dinner. God damn it, you ain't doing a goddamn thing. Says, God damn it, I ought to take this damn stick and frill the hell out you. He said, no, sir, if you frill the hell out of me, God damn, I frill the hell out of you. It makes me feel bad if I was under them, you know, how mean they was to treat us like that.
In 1860, 50 years after it was illegal, the last slave ship arrived in Alabama, and the government tried to cover it up. The Clotilda smuggled 110 West Africans into Mobile Bay in 1860. Slavery was already illegal internationally, but Alabama plantation owners didn't care. They made a bet they could get away with it. When the ship arrived, they burned it to hide the evidence. They scattered the enslaved Africans across plantations, hoping no one would notice. But here's what they didn't expect. When freedom came, those survivors didn't just disappear into history. They founded their own town called Africa Town, just north of Mobile. They built churches, schools, and businesses. They kept their African traditions alive while building new American dreams. 5 generations later, their descendants are still there. For 160 years, The government denied the Clotilda ever existed, called it a myth. But the descendants never forgot. They passed down the stories, the names, even the African words their ancestors brought. In 2019, they finally found the ship's remains in Mobile Bay. Proof that the last slave ship to America came to Alabama. Most people don't know Africa Town exists. Share this so Alabama's real history doesn't get erased.
Black man invented the stoplight. White man invented a ticket.
Keep going.
Black man invented the light bulb. White man invented electric bill.
Black man invented the telephone. White man invented the telephone bill.
Black history they don't teach in school. A black woman invented the first home security system, but most people don't know her name. This is the story of Marie Van Britten Brown. In the 1960s, Marie lived in Queens, New York. Her husband worked long hours, and crime in their neighborhood was rising. She wanted to feel safe at home, so she invented a security system that changed the world. She designed a system with cameras, two-way microphones, and a remote-controlled lock, something no one had seen before. If someone came to the door, she could see them, speak to them, and unlock the door all from another room. Her invention became the blueprint for modern home security cameras, intercoms, and alarm systems. Today, the same technology is in millions of homes and businesses around the world. Even though her patent was approved in 1969, she never got the recognition she deserved. Most security companies profited off her idea, but history erased her name. Marie Van Britten Brown made homes safer, but her story was nearly forgotten. Why? Because they don't want you to know that a black woman was behind modern security systems. This is black history that is not taught in schools. If you didn't know this, share this video, because history books won't.
They stole his invention and gave the credit to a white man. In 1872, Elijah McCoy, the son of formerly enslaved parents, revolutionized the railroad industry. He invented a self-lubricating cup that allowed trains to run longer and safer without stopping. It was so effective that companies began advertising their machines as the real McCoy, meaning the genuine original product. But here's the part they don't teach in school. When railroads started making massive profits, they quietly hired white engineers to put their names on patents based on McCoy's designs. The history books and trade journals began crediting those men, not the black inventor who made it all possible. McCoy spent his life fighting for recognition, but even today, most people have no idea that the real McCoy was a black man whose legacy was almost completely erased. They didn't just take his invention, they took his name, his story, and his place in history. Follow now, because when they replace the face, they rewrite the facts.
Black Americans built
She was
the
absolutely
USA.
correct. If you look on a timeline, the history of the United States is still fairly brief, and slavery was abolished a mere 155 years ago. It wasn't just the White House that was built using slave labor, by the way. The building that serves as our country's political center, the United States Capitol, was built and rebuilt using slave labor after its sacking in the War of 1812. Although most northern states had abolished slavery by 1804, it's had its fair share of symbols erected using slave labor. If you're familiar with the Trinity Church in New York's financial district, you may not know that the clergy rented enslaved people to build its iconic spires, as well as the wall that used to snake down what we now know as Wall Street. Many of our forefathers were enslavers. Thomas Jefferson's entire property in Charlottesville, Virginia, Monticello, was built and run by enslaved people. Enslaved people also helped build our intellectual centers. Georgetown University, one of the country's oldest colleges, built most of its campuses after the sale of 272 enslaved people in the 1830s. Many schools with storied histories were built in part by enslaved people, including Harvard University's Law School and the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. That school's campus was maintained by slave labor until its abolishment in 1865. Poor record-keeping and indifference by early historians makes it nearly impossible to know every contribution made to these buildings, but there's no doubt about how they got built.
Did you know that the ice cream mold was invented by a black American? Let's dive into this amazing story. Alfred L. Krall, born in 1866 in Virginia, was a true innovator who changed the ice cream game forever. Growing up in the post-Civil War South, Crowley's journey was marked by resilience and creativity, setting the stage for his groundbreaking invention. While working as a porter in a drugstore, Crowley noticed how difficult it was to scoop and serve ice cream efficiently. He saw the struggle of servers trying to manage the sticky, melting dessert, and this sparked an idea that would soon transform the industry. His keen observation and determination led him to a brilliant solution. Inspired by this challenge, Crowley invented the ice cream scoop with a built-in scraper, patenting his design in 1897. Talk about black excellence. This ingenious tool made serving ice cream quicker and cleaner. It was a game changer for ice cream parlors everywhere. Crowley's invention was not just a tool, it was a symbol of innovation and progress. Crowley's invention revolutionized the ice cream industry and is still used today. So remember his name next time you enjoy a scoop. His legacy lives on every time we indulge in our favorite frozen treat, reminding us of the power of creativity and perseverance. Alfred L. Krall's story is a testament to the impact one person can have, and his contribution is a sweet part of our history. Keep learning, keep sharing. Like, follow, and share for more Black history in America.
In 1969, before free school breakfast, the Panthers stepped up. In 1968, black children went to school hungry every day. There was no free breakfast, no morning meal. The Panthers saw the hunger and decided they wouldn't wait for permission to fix it. They fed 20 kids that first morning. Quiet hands passed warm plates, and just like that, the revolution had a table. Word spread fast, lines grew longer, and the cameras showed up, but so did the fear. To Hoover, full bellies looked like revolution, so he aimed the FBI at the breakfast line. Today, millions eat because the Panthers stood tall. Their names aren't in textbooks, but their love lives on. In every full plate, their revolution still feeds us. Real history tastes different. Tap in. Tap the link in the bio to learn more.
Just say anything. Like, share, and subscribe.
You're not just saying that?
I never just say anything.